Hey class, today we're talking about poetry part 5, rhythm part 2. Maybe just gave you a little introduction to what rhythm is. Of course, all this information is coming from this book, Western Wind, by David Mason and John Frederick Nims. All right, so I told you guys a little bit earlier about iambic foot, which is a unstressed, stressed foot. But there's different types of feet, okay? There's a Pyrrhic foot. It's unstressed, lockers of the Spondee, which means doubly unstressed, downfall, old loves. And Trochee is stressed, unstressed. It's just the reverse of iambic. Weather, token. Although that's subjective. You could argue that token is the other way around. But like I said, sometimes this is subjective. All right. Then you have different types of rhythms with the feet. Okay. So then if you got 3 beats, these are Anapests and Dactyls. Anapests are rising rhythms, they lift, and Dactyls are falling rhythms, they dip. Here's an Anapest. It's an unstressed, stressed. To the trees, right? The last part is stressed. Second bass in a dream. A Dactyl is unstressed. It's stressed, unstressed. So memories. Mem, right? All right. Then you have in-stop lines and enjambed lines, okay? In in-stop lines, the sentence or the independent clause terminates at the end of the line, right? So you can see here, this is a poem about. This is a poem. Well, usually in class I ask you guys what this poem is about. Placed on this isthmus of a middle state, a being darkly wise and rudely great, since the line stops. Sole judge of truth in endless error hurled, since the line stops. The glory, jest, and riddle of the world, since the line stops. What is that he's talking about? He's talking about man. That's what we are, the glory, jest, and riddle of the world, mankind. There's nothing as complex as the human brain, nothing in nature, which is interesting. All right, now run-on lines produce an effect known as enjambment, so that the sense of the line is carried over to the next line. So this A.E. Houseman poem. With rue my heart is laden, for golden friends I had, for many a rose-lit maiden, for many a lightfoot lad. A caesura is a pause that arises literally it literally means a cut, but it's somewhere in the middle of the line. Are you okay, Presley? No, we're not going to open it yet. We'll go outside in a minute. All right, so here you can see the caesuras. They're represented by 2 parallel bars. This is I'll say this is from Paradise Lost. Yeah, this is from Paradise Lost. It's describing Satan here. He's scarce. Oh my goodness. He scarce had ceased. It must be 9:30, right? When the superior fiend was moving toward the shore, his ponderous shield, ethereal temper, massy, large, and round, his spear, to equal which the tallest pine hewn. Your candies, that's right. There's no more candies left. They're all gone. You want to get some more later? Mama took it, yeah. We'll go to the store.
Mama take it.
She did. Come here.
She did. He left it. I ran one.
Mama took the candies. Why don't you go watch TV until I'm done?
Mama took the candy.
Okay, be careful with that. It's glass.
Yeah.
Basically, what this little paragraph. Oh my God. Give it to me.
Ouch.
No. Presley, you cannot. What this paragraph is talking about is Satan. Okay, he's so big that his spear, which to him is but a wand, is taller than the tallest Norwegian pine. How about we color? Just color. All right, so you have different feet line lengths. You got manometer, which is 1 foot line, which is like 1 foot is 2 syllables, right? Diameter is 2 foot line poems, which is 4 syllables. Then you got trimeter, which is 3 foot, right? Tetrameter is 4 foot line poems. This is like, what's his name? Wordsworth. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye that is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. Notice there's 4 feet in each of those lines. That means 8 syllables. For oft when on my couch I lie. That's 4. We're going to paint soon. We're not going to paint. We're going to color. You got hexameter, which is 6-foot lines. Heptameter, Presley, you're about to get a whipping. You got 7-foot lines, and then you got octameter, which is 8-foot lines. This is an example of octameter. Presley, stop. Do you want to color? Take a minute and read it on your own while I deal with it. Stop. You better get a whipping. You didn't hurt yourself. I want you to draw. So anyway, this is a poem he wrote, Tennyson, called Locksley Hall. He's one of my favorite poets. Comrades, leave me here a little while yet 'tis early morn. Leave me here, and when you want me, sound upon the bugle horn. Later in the same poem, he says, famously, make me feel the wild pulsation that I knew before the strife, when I saw my years before me and the tumult of my life. So essentially, you can see, guys, that each line has 8 feet, which is 16 syllables, right? Whoopsie. All right, free verse is poetry without meter. Robert Frost is... Good job, baby. I see that. Make sure you draw... Yeah, you can color on the paper. Robert Frost is famous for saying that writing free verse is like playing tennis with the net down. He liked structure in the way he wrote poetry. But many people have responded to that saying, yeah, it's harder because you have to imagine the net. So people have said, you have to imagine the structure when you do free verse. And I don't know about that. Parataxis means setting side by side. If you look at this poem here, this is Parataxis. Big brother, the Marine who didn't die. Okay, so it's things that are not related that are set side by side. It's a function of withholding, similar to the withheld image in poetry. So the poet never really tells you exactly what the logical connection between each of those statements is. So if you look at this poem here, this is kind of an interesting poem. The door that someone opened wide, the door that someone shut again, the chair where someone came to sit, the cat that someone cuddled there, the fruit that someone bit into, the letter someone read and read, the chair that someone overturned, the door that someone opened wide, the road where someone's running yet, the woods that someone's passing through, the river someone's jumping in, the hospital where someone's dead. There's really not a clear logical connection between those things. Now, parallelism, just like in grammar, is giving corresponding parts, corresponding expressions, not necessarily grammatically, but logically, okay? So this is a poem by Benjamin Franklin. I forgot the name of it, but the idea is little things can have big outcomes. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. For want of a shoe, the horse was lost. For want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the battle was lost. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a horseshoe nail. So let's talk about the sentence. One thing we're going to talk about is this idea of inversion in a sentence, where somebody takes a sentence and breaks it up and flips it around on itself to get closer to the complex reality that a grammatical sentence oversimplifies, right? So inversion is a rearrangement of the normal word order. Here are 2 different lines of poetry that are about, I think they're about the same shipwreck, okay? And basically the point of this lines of poetry is that the shipwreck, the only way that people were saved were just by a little bit, okay? So out from death, a handbreadth they are born, like one breadth of the hand. Tiny the plank which thrust grim death away. That was Aratus, he said. Here we see John Milton famously using inversion to talk about Satan in a way that's upside down. And in this scene, Satan himself was upside down, so it kind of fits perfectly. All right, a stanza is simply an identical collection or group of lines. So you have different stanza poems. So a stanza in poetry is like a paragraph, okay, essentially. So couplets are 2-line paragraphs, or whether it's called stanzas. Then you have 3-line stanzas, which is often called terza rima. 4-line stanzas are quatrains. Ballad stanzas are quatrains with iambic pentameter. You got 5 and 6-line stanzas. You got rhyme royal, which is like a 7-line stanza, and then 8-line stanzas, ottava rima. Sonnet is traditionally, this is the last thing we're going to learn about. Sonnet is 16 lines. No, I'm sorry, 14. It's an octave followed by a sestet, so it's 8 plus 6, and that's 14. This largely conforms to what's called the golden ratio, which is supposed to be the most aesthetically pleasing ratio. And also there's a transition usually between the octave and the sestet. So the theme kind of shifts a little bit. The meter of stanzas is generally iambic pentameter, da-da. And Italian or Petrarchan sonnet usually has this rhyme scheme: A, B, B, A, C, D, D, C, E, F, G, F, E, G. All right, guys, that's all for now. Let me figure out how to turn this off. Let me move myself.